It's strange, isn't it? I have more memories of the dry heat of Arizona than the salt air of Cuba. I was 5 when we came, just a tiny thing. Clutching a plastic doll and believing my mother when she called this place El Peri. Every day felt like a gift, a promise written in the beautiful chaos of the school cafeteria. But the gift stopped arriving when I was 10. The silence that followed was heavy, permanent. The papers said it was a car accident miles away, on a road they shouldn't have been on. But there were details, things my tia wouldn't share. She would lock their empty room. That closed door was a tomb, and the why they were out there was the key I could never find. After that, I wasn't Isabella. I was a secret. A borrowed life. An empty slot in the system, defined only by the documents I didn't have. The fear became my shadow, always telling me, "You don't belong here." The dream of paradise was sitting on quicksand. Had to be perfect to survive. I swallowed that fear and used it as fuel. Late nights, scholarships that never asked too many questions. When I got into the university, it felt like cheating death. I chose sociology. I wanted to understand how systems break people. It was a perfect, heartbreaking irony. 4 years flew by. The last semester, the last week, I could literally taste the victory. I went to the bookstore and spent half my grocery money on the cap and gown. It was hanging on the back of my closet door, black silk, waiting for Saturday. It was proof that I had won against the quiet fate that had claimed my parents. But you can't win when the rules are rigged. It was Tuesday. The Tuesday before graduation, 3:17 p.m. The sun was warm on the glass. I was proofreading my thesis, The Invisible Citizen. Then came the knock. It was deliberate, urgent. A violation that echoed the one in my childhood. My blood turned to ice. I didn't have to look through the peephole. I knew. Immigration. Everything I had built collapsed into a single, terrifying instinct. Run. But where? The men were fast, polite, and terrifying. They handed me a warrant with my wrong last name and gave me 2 minutes. I didn't grab the gown. Why? Maybe I knew if I couldn't wear it, I couldn't bear to look at it again. It was the only thing I left behind. The last thing I saw before the metal door of the van slammed shut was UNT, the beautiful Arizona sky. But the face of the younger officer holding my printed thesis. He paused, glanced at the title, and then slowly, deliberately, crumpled the paper into a tight ball. That crumpled paper, that was the sound of my future dying. A quiet, paper-thin finality. The cold, hard reality of stepping off that plane in Havana was worse than any prison. My ancestral home? A place I didn't know. I was a ghost in a foreign land. I had gone from being undocumented in paradise to being an alien in the country of my birth. My tio found me, but he was weary. He couldn't understand why I was so broken. Why I cried every time I saw a student in a backpack. I had no papers here either. I had a degree that only existed in my head. I was a nobody, starting over, but with the added weight of having lost everything, the dreams turned into nightmares. I couldn't sleep. The pain was a physical weight on my chest. That's when I met Miguel. He offered me escape. Not a plane ticket, but a small, white pill. He said it would stop the memories from playing on repeat. And for a while, it worked. It made the crushing hopelessness feel distant. The silence I had craved became a chemical reality. But the escape cost my will. It cost the memory of my parents' faces. It cost the last, fragile threads of Isabella, the girl who dreamed of a degree. I ran from my tio's pity. The streets were easier. They asked nothing of me. The pills turned into needles. The temporary distance became a permanent, hollow absence. The only thing that mattered was the next moment of quiet. Sometimes, when I see a tourist with a college sweatshirt, I stop. I stare. I trace the path of my life in the cracked pavement. The irony is suffocating. I wanted to fix broken systems. Instead, the system broke me completely. I never got to walk across that stage. I never heard my name called. I am still here, on the streets. And now, I'm just waiting for the day that the silence, the deafening, final silence, takes me home once and for all.